Imagine a civilization that once controlled a vast stretch of land, connecting the trade routes between Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. A society so skilled in engineering, commerce, and architecture that their legacy still stands strong thousands of years later. But who were the Nabataeans? And how did they create a kingdom that has, to this day, fascinated historians, archaeologists, and travelers alike? Today, we're going to dive deep into the mysterious world of the Nabataean kingdom, a people who thrived in the deserts of the Middle East and left behind secrets that have stood the test of time. From their incredible architectural feats to their rise and fall, there's so much to uncover. What makes this story even more captivating is how little we know about them. Despite their remarkable achievements, the Nabataeans never left behind a written record of their own. Most of what we know about them comes from ancient sources, archaeological discoveries, and a few surviving inscriptions. So, get ready to travel back in time and explore the fascinating mystery of the Nabataean kingdom. The rise of the Nabataeans. The story of the Nabataean kingdom begins in the 4th century BCE, in a region that today spans parts of modern-day Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Syria. The Nabataeans were not one of the major empires like the Romans or Greeks, but they were masters of trade, thriving in the harsh desert lands of the Arabian Peninsula. But how did a group of nomadic Arabs rise to such prominence? The answer lies in their adaptability and unique understanding of the desert environment. In the arid regions of Arabia, where life seemed impossible for many, the Nabataeans flourished by making use of the very conditions that others found inhospitable. Their deep knowledge of the desert's rhythms, its resources, and its challenges made them one of the most formidable civilizations of their time. At the heart of their success was their ability to navigate the harsh desert environment and take advantage of the region's trade networks. The Arabian desert may seem like a barren wasteland, but it was strategically positioned at the crossroads of major trade routes that connected the Mediterranean to the east, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and beyond, and the Arabian Peninsula to India, Africa, and even China. It's important to remember the Nabataeans were not isolated. They had contact with powerful empires like the Egyptians, Greeks, and later the Romans. Yet, they remained fiercely independent, maintaining their own customs and culture while capitalizing on the power of trade. The power of trade. How did the Nabataeans build a kingdom from seemingly humble beginnings? The answer is simple: trade and their ability to control it. In an age before modern communication and transportation, controlling trade routes was power. The Nabataeans controlled the spice trade, especially frankincense and myrrh, precious commodities that were in high demand for religious ceremonies, incense, and perfumes. The desert was their domain, but they knew how to move in and out of it like no one else. They set up a network of cities that acted as hubs along these trade routes. These cities, like Petra, were strategically located to provide safe shelter and water for passing caravans. Over time, the Nabataeans became one of the richest and most influential peoples in the ancient world, without needing a formal army to enforce their power. But it wasn't just about trading spices. The Nabataeans were skilled in many other goods, including textiles, perfumes, and precious stones, which they traded with empires like the Romans and the Greeks. They were known for their diplomacy as much as their commerce, building networks of alliances with other kingdoms and peoples. They even used their position to act as mediators in conflicts between powerful empires, which gave them a unique standing in the ancient world. Petra, the heart of the Nabataean kingdom. Now let's talk about Petra. This ancient city is one of the most awe-inspiring places in the world. It's a place so unique and so breathtaking that it's often referred to as the Rose City, because of the pink sandstone cliffs it's carved into. But Petra wasn't just a pretty city. It was the beating heart of the Nabataean kingdom, nestled between mountains and a series of narrow gorges known as Sikhs. Petra was naturally protected from invasion. The city's location was strategic, allowing the Nabataeans to control vital trade routes. Caravans traveling through Petra could rest, stock up on water, and continue on their journey, ensuring the Nabataeans remained integral to trade networks that stretched from Asia to Europe. Petra was also an engineering marvel. The Nabataeans built their city in such a way that it became an oasis. They harnessed the natural environment, and every building, road, and structure was designed with the landscape in mind. One of the most striking things about Petra is its rock-cut architecture. Most of the buildings, temples, and tombs were carved directly into the cliffs. The most famous of these is Al-Khazna, or the Treasury, which is widely regarded as one of the most magnificent architectural achievements of the ancient world. But Al-Khazna is just one example of the incredible feats of engineering carried out by the Nabataeans. The city contains over 800 individual structures, including temples, homes, and monuments, many of which still stand today, despite the ravages of time. The genius of water management. Now, what's interesting about Petra is that it wasn't just a place to live, it was also a powerful statement. The Nabataeans didn't just build for utility, they built to impress. Their city was a symbol of wealth, strength, and ingenuity. And even though much of it has crumbled over time, the scale and beauty of what remains show us just how impressive it must have been in its prime. But Petra's true genius lies beneath the surface, in its water management systems. It's hard to imagine today, but Petra is located in one of the driest regions on Earth. The city receives little to no rainfall, yet it flourished for centuries. How? It all comes down to the Nabataeans' mastery of water. The Nabataeans engineered an elaborate system of water storage, channels, and aqueducts that brought water from distant springs into the city. The channels, carved into the rock, were designed to capture rainwater, funneling it into large cisterns where it could be stored and used as needed. These aqueducts didn't just feed the city's needs, they were critical to Petra's success. The city's population could grow because water was available, even in the driest of seasons. The Nabataeans even used underground channels to prevent water from evaporating in the desert sun. This ingenious system enabled them to build a thriving city in a place where others would never have dreamed it was possible. The fall of the Nabataean kingdom. The Nabataeans ruled over a vast stretch of land, with cities connected by trade routes that spanned the Arabian Peninsula, parts of Syria, and down into Egypt. At their height, they were not only traders, but skilled diplomats, engineers, and rulers. But, like many great civilizations, the rise of the Nabataean kingdom was eventually met with its fall. In 106 CE, the Roman Emperor Trajan annexed the Nabataean kingdom into the Roman Empire. While Petra continued to exist, it began to lose the independence that had defined it. The Romans took control of the trade routes, and Petra's once great wealth began to diminish. But the Roman presence was not the only reason for the fall of Petra. Earthquakes struck the city, and the changing of trade routes led to the decline of its economic significance. By the 7th century, the city was largely abandoned. Despite this, Roman influence is evident in the city's architecture, with Roman-style baths, theaters, and columns blending with the Nabataean buildings. But the independent spirit of the Nabataeans was slowly lost, and the great city of Petra was eventually abandoned. Rediscovery of Petra. For centuries, Petra and the Nabataeans remained lost to time. That is, until 1812, when Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt rediscovered the site, bringing Petra back into the world's consciousness. Today, Petra is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world, attracting thousands of tourists each year. But it's more than just a tourist attraction. Scholars and archaeologists continue to study the ruins, unearthing new discoveries about the Nabataeans every year. We now know that the Nabataeans were more than just traders. They were innovators, masters of engineering, and survivors in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Their ability to thrive in such an unforgiving landscape remains a testament to the resilience and brilliance of the human spirit. The Nabataeans may no longer walk the streets of Petra, but their legacy endures in the stunning city they built, in the way they harnessed the desert, and in the powerful stories that continue to fascinate us today. Conclusion. Their achievements remind us that even in the most challenging environments, human ingenuity and determination can create something that stands the test of time. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the mysteries of the Nabataean kingdom. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the wonders of the ancient world. Until next time, keep seeking the past and never stop uncovering its hidden stories.